not say that. So you're telling me there's a chance? Oh, Jesus, help.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. It is your boy Cam, and whoosh, action. We are back. Welcome. I'm in a good mood. It's been a good, nice, relaxing weekend. We haven't had to do a whole lot, which for me is always good. I always enjoy when I finally get to relax with my family. It's been good, man. I had a great. I think we talked about it last week. I had a great weekend with my daughter last weekend. I've had a great weekend with my wife and youngest daughter this weekend. I got to talk to my oldest daughter on her birthday. Amazing. Shocker. No football. Not until the college football playoffs start. Notre Dame plays the 29th. So for all you people that don't really tune in for the sport, I got no fights for you and no football for you. I will tell you, because what kind of Road to Redemption podcast would this be if I wasn't complaining about something? You guys know I'm a podcast fiend. I'm just a fiend for these podcasts, and I listen to them like clockwork all the time. I listen to Bill Burr's, I listen to Theo Vaughn's, The Fighter and the Kid, Joe Rogan's. Go check all of those amazing podcasts out. One podcast that I specifically used to really enjoy was Bobby Lee's podcast, and it's called TIGERBELLY, and I was a big fan because I have always thought that Bobby Lee was funny. I've always been a fan. Here recently, I've noticed, and I've got really frustrated, and I actually told this to them in their comment section, and I also sent a tweet to them about it. I was like, dude, I'm losing my spark for this podcast because I get it. It's comedy. I'm not one of those ones that's like, oh, I'm offended, or oh, that hurt my feelings. I'm not that guy at all. But there's a difference between comedy and being hateful and being arrogant and being whatever. And obviously, I know what you guys are going to say. It's because of the Notre Dame affiliation that I got pissy about this. It wasn't that. In their last episode, Bobby Lee was talking about, somebody brought up Rudy. The movie Rudy, where the guy is, fighting. I'm not going to give the movie away if you haven't seen it. First off, shame on you. Second off, the basic gist is he's a small guy, not a ton of athletic ability, but he sticks with it. He makes it into Notre Dame when no one thought he would. He has a ton of learning disabilities that makes it very difficult for him to succeed in high school. Everyone tells him, he goes to a Catholic high school, and the pastors and the nuns are all telling him, hey man, Notre Dame's not a place for dreamers to go. This is for elite students to go. And everyone told him he couldn't do it. He stuck with it. He made it just to Notre Dame. He walked on, made the scout squad. He lives his dream of playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And Bobby Lee and his girlfriend Kalila, who has always kind of been, to me, she's been very judgmental and egotistical of herself. She thinks she's the coolest freaking thing ever. But what irritates me the most, and what the reason I'm bringing it up on this podcast is not to smack on TIGERBELLY. Lord knows they have so many fans, and they're going to be just fine without me watching it. But I want you guys to always keep me in check. I want you guys to always listen to everything that I say and make sure that I never get too big for my britches like that, because I say a lot of things and I'm very passionate about everything that I do say. And I don't ever want to get to a place where I'm saying something that's actually coming from a place of ego, not from a place of purely being objective and unbiased about something. And they were just trashing him. They were like, it's bullshit that he was not even on this team, and his girlfriend, Kalila, was like, I was an athlete, and I saw people who felt like they were entitled to that position, right? Rudy didn't feel like he was entitled. Rudy busted his ass every single day to even get into Notre Dame, and then once he made it there, to make it onto the walk-on squad, he was the toughest player out there. And every coach said, I wish that my starting players had half the heart that Rudy had. So he asked him, Coach, I've been on this team for 2 or 3 years now. It's my senior year. Can you just do me a solid? You know, I know what I bring to this team. Can you do me a solid and just let me dress? I'm not even asking for you to let me play. Let me run out of the tunnel so my dad can see that I am a part of this football team. They don't believe me. You know, they can't see me at practice every day getting my head kicked in. And coach at the time, it was Ara Parsegian, asked him, he said, is this really for your dad? And he goes, not really. He's like, yeah, it'd be cool to show my dad, but this is for me, Coach. I've worked really hard. I've always dreamed of playing for the Irish. And he was like, all right, man, you know what? And I'm giving this movie away. And I won't do it justice. Please still go see the movie. It's a really, really old movie, though. I say really old. I think it was made in like the early 90s. And so he goes, you know what, dude? I'll dress you. You're right. You've worked hard. You deserve it. I'll dress. I'll let you dress. Somewhere in that week, that coach quits. He goes to coach for the Green Bay Packers. A new coach comes in, and he doesn't know anything about the deal that they made Rudy. So Rudy's all bummed out. He kind of quits the team, and then he comes back. The whole team goes and takes their jersey and sets it on the coach's desk and says, I want Rudy to dress in my place. Now, fun fact, that did not actually happen. In real life, that part of the movie where they all go in and lay their jerseys down, that didn't really happen. The coach dressed Rudy and played him because he wanted to. The players didn't really do that. That was for a theatrical effect. But it's the point of Rudy made an impact on that team. Rudy worked hard, and these people who think that they're just so big and bad that they have a successful podcast, and Bobby Lee is on a sitcom now, and I don't know what Kalila does. I think she does a lot of the like backhouse business stuff for Bobby Lee, and I think she's writing, producing some stuff. So like they have accomplishments, but I would never want to get to a place of success where I'm just so naturally shitting on people. And that's the whole last episode. That's all I listened to. And it's a lot of promotion. You know, Bobby Lee talks about how he has mental health issues, but then he does such unhealthy shit to his body, and they talk about how selfish he is and how lazy he is and all this. It just glorifies something that I can't get behind, man. And again, I know they're not going to miss me one bit, but it really chapped my ass to see that somebody who has come from nothing. You know, Bobby Lee doesn't have an amazing upbringing. He talks about some of his challenges in his life, and he's not the most talented person in Hollywood, let's be honest. I mean, he's funny. I think he's funny, but he's not the most talented. He is the Rudy of Hollywood, so if nothing else, Bobby Lee should be rooting for him. Not shitting on him, especially when he has learning disabilities and all this stuff. It was just a really egotistical and a pompous fucking thing, and I might have taken it too personally, but as somebody who's constantly playing a victim role, I've seen it 1,000 times, he constantly has to make it very much pointed out when an injustice has been done to him, and how he's always been the redheaded stepchild of Hollywood, and he never gets these parts. Well, first off, everything he says is inappropriate. Everything he says is completely left field. Like, nothing really offends me. And there's things that I'm like, dude, I'm not offended, but no wonder you don't get cast for shit. Look at the way you speak. Look at the things you do. Come on. Like, and that's just the thing. I got very, very irritated by that episode because from somebody who I've supported for a while, it was really upsetting to see now that he's comfortable, you know, financially, and things are starting to go well with his podcast and he feels safe now. He kind of just seems like he's turned into a real asshole. So guys, I ask you, please always keep me in check. I don't ever want to be that way where I'm just shitting on someone. I feel like I'm not shitting on Bobby Lee because I'm asking you to use that as an example and hold me to that example. I don't want to just shit on people like that because I just think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. And one of the other things that they do on that show, and I'm speaking about the whole show, is they're constantly talking about how there's injustices, and obviously they're, Bobby Lee and his girlfriend are major liberals and stuff like that, and he's always saying how terrible Trump is and this, that, and other. And he does nothing but spread a bunch of hate on that show anymore. And it's just something I can't contribute to. So again, TIGERBELLY's not gonna notice me being gone or anything like that. But I think his friends, if nothing else, should police him. They should police him and say, Bobby, dude, you're kind of tripping. Like, we get it. You're funny. You're a funny guy. But this whole self-deprivation to the point of unhealthy, and then also, you just kind of have a podcast about trashing people. He's always telling these really fucked up stories about other people, and he goes, well, I'm not going to say their names. And then he says the name, or he goes, I'm not going to say the name. I could, but I'm not going to say the name. And he tells these terrible stories about people. It's just, I don't know. It bummed me out. I think it's because, again, I was a fan for so long. I love my podcast. Some of it is very selfish. I love to sit down. I know when to expect them. Like Bill Burr's are Monday and Thursdays. Theo Vaughn's are Mondays. Fighter and the Kid are Mondays and Wednesdays. Joe Rogan is whenever the hell Joe Rogan does one. Sometimes he does 6 a week, and sometimes he does 1 a week. Sometimes he does none. So those can pop up anytime. But yeah, I hope I didn't ruin your guys' podcast experience by talking about this one, because again, I don't ever want to just shit on somebody, but I do want to draw attention to the fact when somebody is spreading hate for no reason. And I hope that somebody at TIGERBELLY hears this. And, I feel like I know which direction they would take. They would either go, fuck this guy, he's nobody, which is true. To them, I am nobody. And to the podcasting world, I'm nobody. Or they would get super defensive and send their slept kingdom over to just try to shit on my life. But, hey, if that's what it takes, if nothing else, I hope they think about it. Even if they send all their slept kingdom over to, write nasty comments on my shit, I hope that they go to sleep every night thinking about the stuff that actually comes out of their mouth, and don't just say shit to try to cause the shock and awe factor, because if that's the only reason that you're entertaining, you're not entertaining. You're being an asshole. So, guys, if I ever get that way, I ask that you check your boy. I'm always down to be checked. I'm sure somebody will message me. You'd be like, well, dude, it's kind of hypocritical. You're shitting on him. But again, I'm not trying to shit on him. I'm trying to raise awareness to something that I saw that was kind of messed up. It was hypocritical of him, I think, in this show. And it just sucks because I really want to support that, and I really want to be a fan. But I'm forcing myself to unsubscribe and just leave that show. Alright, so next things next, or first things first. What do we got? Michael Cohen, Trump's former attorney, got 3 years in the big house. He is going to prison, folks. From everything I've seen, he's going to prison for a bunch of stuff that was not related to anything that Trump was related to. To me, this is just to the uneducated me, that I think that whole situation is it looks like a mafia thing to me. Like, Trump's personal attorney is going to prison. Trump's campaign manager is about to get sentenced. There's 4 people around the president that are about to be sentenced for crimes that were all found out about because the president was being investigated. Now, none of the crimes that all these people are being tried for have anything to do directly that would get the president in trouble. But it looks like everything was set up like a mafia thing. Trump's the head, mob guy. And it's like, all right, look, this is how we're going to play it, right? This is how we're going to play it. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. If this all goes to shit, right, you're probably going to do some time. But if you do time, you're going to be set when you get out. Michael Cohen. So now, he even said, I was blindly loyal to Trump when I should not have been. I mean, come on. What would a fall guy be thinking in a time of panic when he just got sentenced to 3 years in prison? Cohen was a fall guy. Again, if Trump actually did something wrong. If Trump was the one that said, do this, do that, but hey, if we get caught, you have to be the one that goes down. I can't go down because if I go down, I can't do all the favors that we promised all these people to make the moves happen for when you get out. So you've got to fall. You've got to go down. And again, I'm sure they were like, dude, that's if we go down. We're not going to go down. Fuck it. We're good. We're good, dude. I'm going to be the fucking president. You know, I'm going to be the president. We're good, dude. Don't even stress it. Don't stress it at all. That's what it seemed like to me. That's what it seemed like to me. Because I keep imagining when Cohen was sitting up there being sentenced. Let's see. Batman, Dark Knight, court scene. This is what it reminded me of. Here, hopefully you guys can freaking see this. The last 3 times I've done this, nobody's been able to see it. So there's...
Sorry I'm late, folks.
Where were you?
Worried you'd have to step up?
Harvey, I know these briefs backwards.
Well, fair's fair. Heads I'll take it. Tailsy's all yours.
Oh yeah? You want to flip a coin to see who leads?
It's my father's lucky coin. As I recall, it got me my first date with you.
I wouldn't leave something like that up to chance.
I didn't need to play the whole freaking thing. I just wanted to get to the part where the mobsters talk. I hope you too. So there's the mob, the head of the mob.
He just played golf with the mayor, things like that.
T-Off's 130. More than enough time to put you away for life, Sally. With Cartwright, Falcone, and Arkham, someone must have stepped up to run the so-called family. Is that man in this courtroom today?
Guys,
Could you
say
identify
anything.
him for us, please?
You win, counselor. It was me.
That's Michael Cohen right now, taking the
A
fall.
sworn statement from you that this man, Salvatore Maroni, is the new head of the Falcone crime family.
Maroney? He's a fall guy. I'm the brains of the organization. Order.
Permission to treat the witnesses hostile.
I feel like that's exactly what freaking happened when Cohen was being investigated. He knew exactly what to say to be like, what? That guy? Nah, dude, it was me. Look, I'm a liar. I'm a piece of shit, you know. But then they were like, all right, you're a liar? You don't know nothing about it? Back 3 years. And he was like, whoa, 3 years? I'm a white politician. I thought I was about to get a slap on the wrist for this shit. Wait. I was a little too loyal. They were like, all right, well, let's do this. You don't have to go to prison until March 6th. Let's see maybe what you remember until then. By the way, while you're trying to see what you actually remember, I'm going to put all your friends in prison too. Just so you know we're not playing. Seems a little mafia-esque to me. But yeah, dude, I feel for anybody, from somebody who's been incarcerated before. I genuinely feel, all politics aside, I don't care. I don't have any ill will towards our president. I don't think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I really don't. I'm very neutral. He's the president of this country, so I don't wish any ill on him. I think it's stupid to be on a bus and wish that the driver has failure. I don't want to be on a bus and wish that the driver is going to fail. I think that's silly. I hope that he does well, and I hope that everything... I hope he starts making smarter decisions than the things that he says. I think we all kind of do that. But I think overall he's doing an okay job. Nothing... When I look out my window, things aren't burning down. Everything's good. But at the same time, I'm not his biggest fan either. I'm very neutral to the fact. But anytime someone has to be sentenced to go to prison, I feel for him, man. I mean, that's 3 years that this guy is going to be away from his family. It's going to be 3 years that his kids have to grow up without a dad. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, honestly. I really would not. If I had somebody, I don't, but if I had somebody that I genuinely had a disdain for, I would not wish even jail time, let alone prison time, on somebody like that. So, Hey, it is what it is. You play big dog games, dude. You might have to pay big dog prices, and that's kind of what happened. Again, if my psychotic mafia mentality theory of what happened there is even semi-correct, he's going to be made when he gets out, and he'll never want, and it's a small sacrifice for his family to pay for them all to be set for life. So hey, on other news. Boy, can the Catholic Church not catch a freaking break. 2 nuns embezzle $500,000 from their school, which is bad. What the F, ladies? Come on, sisters. What are we doing? If we're not going to make it worse, they did it to go gamble in Las Vegas. Hey, now, here's my take on it, right? Can we just admit that the religion thing is maybe not what we all thought it was? Can we concede now? We got fathers out there raping kids. Nuns are embezzling money to go gamble, which you're not supposed to freaking do inside the church. Can we acknowledge that maybe it's a little ridiculous for the hardcore religious people out there to think that the gays are going to burn in hell forever, and that laying with someone before they're married is going to cause eternal damnation? I think that we can all objectively agree now, hey, there's flaws. We got flaws in this shit, right? We got a guy who's never been married, not allowed to be married, standing up on a podium telling me how to live my life and how I'm supposed to lead my family. How in the hell would you know? You've never had a family. You're not allowed to have a family. Why would I listen to you? Why would I listen to you about anything? It's absolutely ridiculous. The whole thing is so silly. Now again, I'm a parent, right? I'm a parent. Is it a practice that I'm going to teach my children? Hey, don't be laying with people before you're married? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to. Why? Because it's in their best interest. You have the best chance of success if you don't get involved in a serious relationship before you're mature and ready enough to handle that relationship and everything that it comes with it, all the way down to the physical elements of a relationship. Yes, I will teach, especially I have 2 daughters, I will teach them, hey, if you date, I'll end your life to begin with. I don't want to imagine my daughters dating. That's the worst thing in the world for me. Because I'm a guy. I know what it's like. I know the pressures that are there in the dating realm, especially in the teenage years. But I think that the church is exposing, and now when I say the church, I mean the organized church, is exposing their own flaws, right? You got people that are claiming you're not supposed to have sex before marriage, not only having sex, but doing it with children, which is the most unspeakable. Then you got preaching that gambling, stealing, lying, cheating is bad, and then you got nuns lying, stealing money, cheating, gambling. Like, the whole thing of organized religion is going off the rails. And it's going off the rails in a blaze of glory for people who, for me, I feel like, and I know this sounds super corny and it's dumb, I hate to even say this, I feel like I'm a spiritual person. I feel like I am very connected with the spiritual elements of this world. Now again, I've said it 1,000 times. When I pray, I'm sending my good thoughts and my good vibes and my good energies out to my higher power. I do believe that there is a higher power out there that is kind of orchestrating some of this, but at the same time, you are the maestro of your own orchestra. What you say, what you do, what you think, how you act directly has a reflection of what comes back to you. Some people would call that karma. I don't. I just think it's, if you're a genuinely good person, you do say, think good shit will come back to you. Now again, you can't just say, think good shit. You have to do. You have to act. You have to... In people's Bible, it teaches them that same thing. I have people in my life who are big into organized religion, and they pray a lot, and they put a lot of things up to the God as they understand them. And when things don't work out, they fall into a deep depression. And it's like, well, look, you still have to do the actions, regardless of what you believe, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Mormon, doesn't matter. Everything is going to tell you, you can't just go, well, Jesus, take the wheel, and then let go of the freaking wheel. You have to still drive the car, right? You have to. And that's how I feel about life as a whole. You have to, first off, you can't be so arrogant to believe that there's nothing out there that's higher and more control than us as human beings. We're so small in the tiny little scale that is this life. We're so tiny. And when you see things like a child being born, you're like, okay, this was created, designed, orchestrated, put together so perfectly. It's so perfect, but down to its very little cells, down to how that child knows to breathe at the right time, and it's insanity, right? It's insane. If that alone doesn't make you know that something is out there that created all of this, even, that doesn't prove or disprove like the Big Bang or creation. I don't know. I'm a mere mortal who tries to live a good life here on earth, and I try to do good unto others, which fits into every religion. It doesn't discredit anyone. But I don't believe that condemning people to hell, and I don't believe that I have to go to a four-wall structure and give money to people for the bad shit that I've done. I don't need to be told every week that I'm a piece of shit. I don't need to be told the same story. I've heard the stories. I know what Jesus did. I know what you say he was. I also know that you portray Jesus as a white dude with long hair. He was Middle Eastern. Jesus was not a white guy. So if you can't even get your physical portrayal of him, which you have evidence of, there's evidence that he was Middle Eastern and wasn't a white dude like myself. If you can't even portray that correctly to me, why would I believe the things that you're saying about the things that cannot be proven to me? That's just how I see it. All respect in the world. If going to church helps you, and if being a part of an organized religion helps you, all the power in the world to you. I believe the higher power, when I send all my stuff out, I choose to call it God. It is God to me. I believe that the same energy that wants me, the same being, whatever it is, I can't even fathom what that would be, but whatever that is, I believe that's the same thing that makes us feel kindness, love, empathy, I believe that all that stuff gave us our emotions, both good and bad. Our raw emotion, I feel like, came from whatever that creative beginning was. And I feel like when I say, too, and I talk about it all the time, you have to give gratitude to things in your life. You have to give gratitude to being able to see the sun. Every day you wake up, you should be grateful for another day of life. If your morning goes shit and you start stubbing your toes and you're brushing your teeth and you jam your gums and you burn your toast and everything that leads up to you walking out your front door in the morning has just gone shit, the second you walk out the door, you should practice looking at the sun, looking at the wind, and going, I'm grateful that I get to see this today. Because if I was incarcerated, dead, or hospitalized, I would not be able to see this. So I'm grateful for this. That kind of resets your morning. Now again, it's not easy. I'm a freaking psychopath when it comes to going down the road of negativity, especially when your morning starts shit. I'm the first one to be like, cocksucker, motherfucker, and I go off. Because I just, that would figure that I would do this, and I'm the biggest self-pitying baby there is. But I try to put it into a practice that I don't do that kind of shit anymore. Because it's not helpful. It leads to anxiety and depression. If you know that that's something you battle with, you have to battle back. So every time you catch that wind on your face, I'm grateful for another day of life, and I'm grateful that I get to see and feel that wind, man, there's some people out there really struggling, holding it down in a jail cell right now, or in a hospital, or immobilized, and they can't feel this. I'm grateful for that. Then I get in my car, vroom, my car starts up, thank God. Okay, I'm grateful that for another day, I didn't have to dump money into my car. Driving to work, listening to my podcast. Dude, I'm super grateful for the lesson that I learned today in whoever's podcast, or the sheer enjoyment that I got from it. Just the entertainment that I got from it. Which is, again, I'm grateful for those, which is why I get irritated when I see them being used as a misjustice. Then I get to work. Dude, I'm grateful I got a job. This allows me to pay my child support, lets me support my family, and you get it. But one thing is, you have to take a minute somewhere, and you have to shoot gratitude. And I always point up, again, I was brought up in organized religion. You have to shoot up gratitude to whatever the Creator is to you. Whatever makes all this, even if it's science to you, whatever, to each his own. I think it's a one love situation. If you believe in God, if you believe in Allah, if you believe in science, if you believe in whatever, I believe that's all one love. We're all essentially showing gratitude and love to the same thing. None of us have any hard evidence as to what to call it, so we all call what fits in our lives and what we can justify in our heads the best. There's definitely no reason to ever hate on another because we don't call it the same thing, or we didn't grow up hearing the same stories in Sunday school, right? Because one person prays 5 times a day and you may only have to pray once, that's not something to argue over. It should all be one love. Hey, we're all trying to learn to be better people, show empathy, love, and kindness to each other. Don't take each other's shit. Stay away from each other's wives. You know, if it's not yours, don't touch it. That kind of thing. We can all agree there, right? We can all agree. So I think it's something that, again, people have tainted, but when you look at things like nuns embezzling $500,000 to go gambling, you can see, it's people. People mess this up, and people have tainted this, and people have caused this to be something that's fought over or at least discussed in an angry fashion. There used to be something too, that the two things you didn't talk about were politics and religion, and the reason is you don't know what's going on behind closed doors in politics, and you weren't there when the world was created, so why fight over either one of them? You believe what you believe, and what works best for you, and your happiness, and your sanity, and what makes your life work the best. Don't shit on somebody else for what they think. To go into that, the placebo effect. So, kind of sticking with the mindset mentality that we're kind of on here, the placebo effect, per science, I heard this on a Joe Rogan, there was somebody talking, and I'm going to try not to mess this up. I have not had my alpha brain today, and it's far away. I didn't drag all the supplements in here. So the placebo effect is, on a physical level, believing that something is going to work mentally does something that processes healing in the body, which actually makes your body heal, right? So people always say it's the placebo effect. You know, there's nothing wrong with you took a sugar pill and got better. But there's actually a science to show that the placebo effect is the law of attraction. You took a sugar pill and thought, okay, I'm going to be better now. You, as some people say, it's a hokey term, manifested, I'm going to be better now. You started to live your life according to the fact that you were now better. You got up, you started moving more, you didn't lay around in a sense of lowness or sadness because of your illness or your disability. You believe now that you're better, or you're at least getting better. So therefore you start to do things as a well person would do, and you end up better. You manifest through your thoughts of, hey, I'm getting better now, or hey, I'm better because I took that, and then through your actions of doing things, now you're better. The placebo effect is not something to be written off. The placebo effect, it has its benefit. There is actually a thing that shows, like, there are people who severely benefit. And, you know, I don't know the statistics, and I know all statistics are flawed, but there are people out there who are on antidepressants and anti-inflammatories, and it's crap. It's a sugar pill, but again, it's not really crap. If I take something every day that tells me I'm better, and I'm better, then it worked. Just because a dangerous compound that was made in a lab that wasn't put into my body doesn't mean that that sugar pill didn't make me better. Maybe my struggle is mental. And maybe my struggle is I don't have the capability to believe in myself and believe in my body's ability to heal itself, so I need help with that. How can my doctor help me best? Not by pumping me full of shit, but by making me believe that I'm going to be better. When my grandmother battled through cancer 4 times. She passed on the 4th, beat it 3. All 3 times, my family said she knew from the beginning she was going to beat it. She never had a question. Never doubted it once. She said, I know I'm going to beat this. I've heard many times that again, I try not to use statistics or numbers. A big part of the cancer battle, specifically when going through chemo, is maintaining a positive outlook that you will get better and that this will work. Almost every doctor will tell you it's a must. You have to believe that it will work and that you will get better, or it's going to be very, very difficult. So, what lesson am I really trying to give you guys for this is, 1, don't ever shit on somebody for the way that they think. If somebody is doing a placebo thing, or if you think meditation is a hoax, or you think that running 50 miles is absolute nonsense, and someone says, hey, but it helps me and I feel better, whatever works for them, let it work, because guess what? Even the placebo effect has a benefit. Let people do what they're going to do, right? But again, it's now from a doctor. Doctors have said, hey, a big part of people getting better is they have to have the belief that they can get better. The guy was saying the most damning thing a doctor could ever do to a patient is to give them no hope. Is to say, hey, look, you got 3 months left, man, that's it. That's it. There's no other option. He even said, if you have a doctor that tells you there's no hope, you need to find a new doctor. Because the first step to making someone better is you have to help them believe that they can get better. There's never no hope. There are miracles all the time. All the time. There's a wide receiver, I think, he played for the Steelers, who was never supposed to walk again, and he just posted a video last week, he's deadlifting. So, things happen. You have to believe that recovery and better days are coming. So, there's that. What's the next one? Good night. It's tough, guys. We were supposed to have Johnny Boy in the studio. He got busy. So I'm here, but man, there are some days it's tough to come in here and talk and be so long-winded. Especially, I hate, and I'm going to be honest for the sake of transparency, I hate the fact that I started this off with the TIGERBELLY thing, because I feel like such a jackass that I feel like I trashed on Bobby Lee and them when that wasn't my intention. I'm very frustrated with them. Can I say that? Is that okay to say without being a hypocrite, that I'm extremely frustrated that they take that approach with the show now, when it used to be all comedy, and a part of Bobby Lee's thing was that he was so self-depreciating. There was a humbleness to it, but now, as the podcast has grown, I feel like the humility is being lost. And that's frustrating because I love that show so much, but I can't support it. And I think some of that came out in some anger. I heard something, and I'm going to go off on it again. They were saying something, and they're all about like toxic masculinity and stuff like that. And they were training one of their dogs, and they had some guy come in and was trying to train one of their dogs because it keeps doing a bunch of stuff around the house. And he was saying that the first thing you don't have to do as a male to a male dog is establish dominance. And she was saying how much that made sense to her, being Kalila, because if you have to prove you're the alpha, you're not alpha. Kalila. Guess what? That's not how that works. Sorry, sweetheart. I know that you're a nurse, and I know that you were this, and I know that you're probably a very kind, loving person. I get it. But it is soft as you would like the world to be, and Bobby's kind of lumped into this. There are instinctual things about animals and people. Guess what? If you put a group of male dogs in a room together, they will establish dominance amongst themselves. If you put males in a room together, one way or the other, they will establish a dominant in that role. It's a part of life. Because some hippy-dippy dog trainer told you that male dogs don't need to be, if there's a man or even a person living in that house, as the person, you would have to establish the dominance. Whitney Cummings, who is a friend of theirs, a fellow comedian, says, and she's a huge dog nut, says how she establishes that she is the alpha in her home. She doesn't allow her dogs to sleep on the couch. They're not going to stand in front of her. She'll walk right through them. And guess what? We implemented that in our house, and it freaking works. I get it. Kalila, you are very smart. But stop acting like you know everything. And Bobby Lee, stop acting like you are the greatest thing since whatever because you got picked up on an ABC show. People love you because of your story, the come up that you had, and the way that you've used that to help others. He has. He has brought so many people up. But now it's gotten to the point where it's so irritating because now he acts like he is the greatest freaking thing that he just gets to shit on everyone now. And she gets to because she sits next to him and they got some fame off of this podcast. That's why I get so frustrated, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan who is severely disappointed. I'm not going to go on it again. I apologize. I'm frustrated with myself because I'm upset that I have to say something critical of somebody that I am such a fan of. Let's keep going on the cams and asshole train. Guys, that Lululemon thing that you're seeing on Instagram, it's not real. They're not looking for recruitment. They're not. Every single year. Every year, about the holiday time, go freaking figure, why would it pop up around the holiday time? Because that's when people are spending money. These fake pages pop up and go, hey, share this, your Instagram story, and we're picking, Lululemon, we're picking 150 ambassadors. And we're picking it because, not because of anything else, but because you shared this flyer on your story. And then, like everything, people flock to it. Oh, share, this would be so great. Don't know if this is real. Well, let me tell you what those actually are. One, it's either a complete ploy by Lululemon to where they're not picking anybody, but now you in your mind go, well, I want to be an ambassador, but I don't have any Lululemon stuff. Oh shit, let me go buy some real quick. And then now, since I tagged that to my story, I'm going to use the new product that I just bought, and I'm going to tag them a ton. So now you've not only become a customer, you've also become a billboard, and you're about to get nothing in return. Or it's scammers who are taking advantage of people who want to post random shit to their storyline. You tag that account, that shows the scammer who is vulnerable and willing to do anything with their social media, and then what are they going to do? They're now going to look into your account to hack it. Guys, it's not real. Okay? If Lululemon pays, just like Nike and Under Armour and all the other companies that they make these fake billboards for, and I talked about this in like one of my very first podcasts, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their athletes, on their media, on their ambassador teams, on their athlete teams. They're not going to pick 150 people randomly who just toss a Lululemon recruitment 2019 thing up in their story. Don't make yourself look so desperate, and don't open yourself up to that kind of spam. It's just not true. So I wanted to put that out there. But again, I'm also an asshole. You guys can do whatever you want. Gratitude. Okay, so we talked about gratitude. This will be the last thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up, because if I haven't made a complete asshole out of myself and ruined any progress, that I've made with this, with the amount of listeners, and I want to stop and say thank you. The Kevin Hart episode last week did amazing, and I want to thank you guys all so much for that. I cannot thank you enough. But I feel like with all the progress I made, I'm about to just kill it with this one, because I feel like this was me just being a dick to religion and and people posting on social. I feel like this is me being a complete hypocrite and acting like I know a bunch of shit. So I apologize for that if that's how it came off. It's not at all how I meant it. The last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to let the show ride off with this, is gratitude. And I talked about it a little bit ago, but one of the big things that I realized that I'm grateful for, and I want you all to look into your own lives. I've had things happen in my life that were unfortunate and that have affected me and that have done a real number to my psyche, and I've done a lot of things to kind of build some of that back and heal some of those wounds. But I want to take a second and be grateful for some of the biggest struggles that I've faced in my life have all been self-inflicted. I want to take a second and realize that there are people out there who live very difficult lives. Things have been done to them and have been done around them, and they've seen and they've experienced that were not self-inflicted, and that sometimes I speak, and when I say things, I say them solely from a stance of self-inflicted life circumstances. And I want to take a second and show gratitude for the fact that I don't have anything right now in my life that haunts me, that was inflicted upon me, that I didn't do to myself. And I want to take a second to reach out to anyone out there who is suffering from, whether it be mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual assault, anything, an accident, an injury, something that happened to you that you did not do to yourself. I want to take a second and tell you that I love you, and I'm sending love to you. I'm sending nothing but love and healing to you, and I hope that if I can help you in any way, I will. And I want to show just the gratitude that I am going to bed tonight knowing that the darkest things that happened in my life thus far were self-inflicted. And I've healed from the things that were not, and I hope healing for you. And if you're like me, and a lot of your mistakes have been because of results of things that you've done, now here's the thing. You do have to take responsibility for a lot of things. I say it, and it's an unpopular opinion that I have, but if you're in a physically abusive relationship and you stay, you have to take responsibility after that first domestic assault. You have to take responsibility for 2, 3, and 4 because you're staying. You have to understand that by staying in that situation, you're putting yourself back to be harmed again. And if you need, I'm gonna toss some numbers out here real quick. If you need help with that or with anything like that, let me see, domestic violence hotline. So domestic violence hotline, guys, if you need help, you can call 24/7, 1-800-799-7233. If you're a victim of domestic violence, don't know what to do, I would urge you right now, get your kids, take a drive around the block. Tell them that whoever's harming you guys, tell them you're going to go get the kids some ice cream or something. Take a lap around the block. If you can't get away, the second you do get alone time, call 1-800-799-7233. If anyone's in immediate danger, please call 911 and get officers en route and paramedics en route, so that way you and your family can be helped. If you are a victim of sexual assault, let me see, sexual assault hotline, and you need someone to talk to, someone to help you through it, that number is 1-800-656-4673. They also have an online chat. So if anything has happened to you, or something is happening to someone you know, and maybe you just don't know how to help them, there are resources out there. And I hope that you're listening and you can feel the love and the warmth that I'm sending you right now, that things can and will get better, and that you have a family here in the Road to Redemption family that genuinely cares about you. And again, if I pray that those of you that are out there that have not experienced those things, take a second right now and just be grateful that you don't deal with those demons, because there are people out there, especially during the holidays. The holidays are coming up. People during the holidays tend to battle with their demons a little stronger than they do at any other point of the year. The holiday blues really kind of get to people, and I want to send my love and support to you this holiday season, that things can get better. They will get better. Again, you have to believe that they'll get better. Take the actions to make them better. And guys, we're not going to go out like that. I'm not going to end the show on such a low point, on kind of a bummer. This is going to be your Monday morning wake up. I want to end you on a good thing. Let's see. It might take me a second. Lord knows. Send a gift to the guy who changed the Avengers Endgame. No, that doesn't matter. I hope you guys all, while I look for this good news, guys, if you have good news and you want to send it to me, send it to road2redemptionpodcast@gmail.com. Send that to me, and I'll read it on the show. Tell me your name, send me your Instagram handle, and I'll shout it out here on the show. Or if you have any news that you want me to talk about, or you want me to touch on, I'll absolutely do that. Let's see, there's got to be... See, this is the problem with the news. I'm sure I've heard... Oh, okay, so let's talk about this. The Bohemian Rhapsody, so positives, Bohemian Rhapsody, the new Spider-Man movie, and there was a third one that I can't remember right now, are all supposed to be fantastic movies. Guys, if you have nothing else to do, go see those few movies. I've heard the Bohemian Rhapsody is supposed to be really, really good. And again, I'm still scrolling, looking for a happy... Let's just see. Happy news. Happy news. What popped up? Happy holidays. Nope. So, okay, could this be any more boring of a way to end the podcast? Guys, I tried to end it off on a positive note. I will end it on a positive note. I love you guys. It's Monday. You guys have an entire week now to take everything that I've said, and if you've taken nothing but the fact that I'm an asshole who smashed on another podcast that I hate to do, and shit on the church, I feel like this was a very negative one. But if you've taken nothing else from this podcast, take this. What you believe turns into your actions turn into your future. Whether they're positive or negative, if you do positive actions this week and you do the things that you know need to be done to make you and your family's life better, your life will get better. If you sit around and wait for other people to do it for you, or you wait for some mythological thing to come through and your lottery ticket to get stamped the winner, you might be waiting for a long time. Go out this week and make this week just an absolute fucking killer, and do everything that you do with a purpose. Do it with a purpose, and do it with a purpose to be better. That's what I want to leave you guys with. I love you guys. I'll catch you on the Instagram, @CamWilliamsonOfficial on Instagram. I love you. We're out.